The latest brazen attacks by the Al-shabaab in Garissa, Wajir, Mandera and Lamu counties have not just left a trail of death and destruction, but brought back the frequently asked questions. What can be done to stop these attacks?
Either to withdraw from Somalia without talking to Al-shabaab, or alternatively, identify the leaders of Al-shabaab and actually talk to them.
Who really is behind this?
In Somalia, Al-shabaab has morphed into become what is effectively an insurgency.
Usiku wanaingia hapa ni kama kwao. Usiku wanakuja.
Has the strategy changed?
The main target is just askari, you must, period, shule.
To go beyond the country's outrage on the senseless cold-blooded killings by the Al-shabaab militants and understand what has changed, one needs to follow their tracks. From all that dwell below these skies, there is a new normal. Garissa town is a business bubble as everyone here is trying to eke out a living. Reports of terrorist attacks in this county, like the rest of the affected counties, has been reduced to careful whispers. The tone changes for those who have stared the ugly face of terror.
We were just under the bed, then we were only praying to God. They were just standing there.
We are not going back. Transfer.
Terrorism is now a way of life.
Anybody who is fighting a faceless war should be prepared for multiplicity of attacks.
Driving 40 kilometers out of Garissa town to the deepest parts of the vast county is nerve-wracking even for the locals. The fear of walking into the terrorist playground with IEDs on the road is very real. We were advised not to use the same road twice. This dirt road goes all the way to Somalia. We only spot a handful of herders with their animals and rarely noticed any security presence. We are heading to Deiso in Fafi constituency, where the Al-shabaab attacked a sleepy village and left a warning. On arrival, we find this. The extent of damage and destruction of this telecommunication mast by the Al-shabaab with bullets and explosives only begins to tell the story of their intent to destroy infrastructure and cut off an entire community. So vital is this mast that police officers were deployed to guard it day and night.
Askari wamekuja hapa, wakakaa for almost 2 months. Mfululizo walikuwa wanakaa hapa. Lakini shida ambayo imetokea ni baadaye wakaona kwamba hakuna haja ya kukaa, wanakaa paka jioni wanaondoka. Alafu asubuhi saa 12 hivi wanakuja. Wakiwa wana pretend ya kwamba wamelala hapa. Sisi hatukuwa tunajua hivyo. Kumbe hao watu wanaenda kulala town. Hao watu wa Al-shabaab hatuwezi tukasema ni watu ambao wametoka mbinguni. Hii ni binadamu kama mimi na wewe. Wanakuja hapa wanachungulia, wanaona mambo vile iko. Wakiona kama hapa hakuna askari na labda kuna askari lakini ni kama hawakai, wanajipanga. Sasa hao watu wamejipanga, wakakuja hapa saa 5 usiku. Wakiwa wanajua kwamba hakuna askari hapa. The first thing wamekuja kuangusha hii chuma.
Witnesses say they saw around 15 militants. However, this was not a surprise visit.
Hawa watu wa Al-shabaab kitambo waingie hapa, sisi tulipasha habari serikali. Mimi mwenyewe nimeenda kwa wale ambao wanahusika, nikaambia kwamba hapa Deiso hawa watu wanatafuta chuma. Sasa ile chuma ambayo imebaki kwa wadi yangu ni hii chuma moja ya Deiso ambayo ni 30 km from the town. Please, tupeleke hapo askari ili wachunge watu wetu na pia hiyo chuma. Hiyo chuma pia inatusaidia sana. Sasa hakuna mtu anakusikiza.
The attack happened on 4th December 2019. A day before the attack, an intelligence report was shared among the local leaders and security personnel. The report said, and I quote, "About 1600 hours at Fafi Center within Fafi sub-county, about 10 Al-Shabaab militias joined locals for Asir prayers. The militants who left towards Yumbis were armed with AK-47 rifles, PK machine guns, and rocket-propelled grenades RPGs. The report further said the militants are currently roaming in Fafi Center, Yumbis, Ruga, Harbole, and the ISO-2 areas due to lack of network. The report mentioned Saredo, which was later attacked and 4 people killed, Alinjugur, Amuma, and Korakora in Garissa as areas of interest where the Al-Shabaab were targeting communication masts."
Hiyo wakati wao walikuwa wamekuja hapa ilikuwa saa 5 usiku. Nimepata the first phone call mimi ndo nimepata. Nikapigiwa nikaambiwa kwamba wale watu wa magaidi wamekuja, sasa wameanza kurusha risasi ni kama wanaelekea upande wa Chuma.
The militants went on rampage from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. Destroying telecommunication masts is not just sending a message to their perceived enemies, it has become their game plan.
It is a military strategy to reduce the speed with which the police can reach one another communication.
These telecommunication masts are also used as eyes and ears by the security agencies, and this is one of the major reasons why Al-Shabaab targets the telecommunication masts. With the recent attack in Lamu, you saw that Al-Shabaab targeted the fixed-wing planes, which were actually used by the Americans to collect intelligence in the southern sectors. And by targeting and destroying such kind of equipment, Al-Shabaab targets to destroy the eyes and ears for the drones so that they become less effective in targeting Al-Shabaab leaders.
This dispensary that serves the local community here was not spared either. Everything was burnt down. The nurse on duty that night escaped. They took food rations in a nearby store before burning everything else. It is not the first time the Al-Shabaab militants have attacked a dispensary or a clinic like this one, and the whole idea is to get medical equipment and get medical supplies to give to those who are injured and to treat those who are sick wherever it is that they are hiding. And police officers say that this kind of attack is very reminiscent of many others that they've carried when they're going to deep places like the Boni Forest.
Kitambo walikuwa huko, wameenda Harbole, wakakaa huko Harbole, wakaenda kwa Fafi Center. Hiyo information tunapata. As we are speaking, I can even swear they are in Fafi Center. Sahi, tuko tunaongea hapa. It's around 60 kilometers from where we are now. Wako sahi.
Schools in the area are empty. The taps are dry, and no one knows how long the village will be on lockdown.
We need an extremely fortified border because we are facing a deadly enemy. The Al-Shabaab is a deadly enemy because they kill without mercy and they die without regret.
We drive 130 kilometers for 2 hours on a treacherous road to another part of Garissa County where the Al-Shabaab militants killed 4 people in an incident that left residents and the country outraged. This towering telecommunication mast in Saredo within Dadaab sub-county in Garissa was again a target by the Al-Shabaab. The locals suspect it is the same group that attacked Diiso. Near the mast is a police post that was hit by an RPG before shooting started.
Here we're standing is the scene that on my left is the police station, and next adjacent is the Saredo Primary School.
So that Mabati structure?
So Mabati structure,
yeah.
All this, the whole fencing up to the building at the last, the schools inside is the Saredo Primary School. Here, this open compound We have a semi-permanent structures, tents, because the police they are almost a month old here.
This ICT center, donated by the locals to house the police, was exposed with no protective fence. The militants' strategy was to hit the telecommunication mast and cut off the network coverage as another group attacked the police post. A third group was looking for teachers just next door.
Wale wawili vilipuzi wale experts walikuwa hapa ndani kutayarisha sasa kulipoa hiyo kitu ambayo ingecause damage, ingemaliza all the surrounding houses.
The special forces who were nearby responded quickly and killed the two Al-shabaab militants right here as they were setting up improvised explosive devices. Unfortunately, at the time of the attack, non-pupils had reported that evening for the beginning of the first term and were in a jovial mood as they waited for their fellow pupils to join them the next day. On that fateful night, they slept in this makeshift iron sheet structure.
Nilikuwa nalalanga hapa.
That night, Abdullahi Muhammad, a teacher at Saredo Boarding Primary School, went to sleep at about 12:30 a.m. and the people slept next door.
Ilifika saa 8 exact ndo nikasikia gurnita kwanza. Hiyo ilifanya hiyo room ya wanaskari vile ilifanyika, ndo nilisikia. Sasa nikaamuka, ndo nikajua ni wale watu wale wabaya. Nikaamuka, nikashuka chini.
Kulikuwa kwa kitanda hapa?
Nilikuwa nalala kwa kitanda. Sasa nikashuka, nikalala hapa chini. Unaona sasa? Nikalala hapa chini na nilipolala, sasa nilikuwa nadhani kama hii mattress inanizuia hiyo marisasi.
In case wakipiga utapatikana.
Ndio. Nilikuwa nadhani kama inanizuia. Sasa nikaona vile hiyo risasi inapiga kelele na inaingia pati. Nikasema hapana, siwezi nikakaa hapa. Immediately mimi nikachukua simu yangu nikakuja kulala hapa chini. Nilipolala hapa chini, ya kwanza ikaingia hapa na ikatokea huko. Nilikuwa naona hivi.
Na hii risasi yote, hii mashimo yote tunaona hapa, ikipigwa ulikuwa hapa chini?
Hii yote isiko hapa. Risasi 5 ilipoingia hii room na ikatokea hii ingine, ndio mimi nilikuwa hapa. Sasa kuna mtu alisema katika hawa wale walikuwa enemies, walikuwa wanasema nje wanarusha marisasi, alikuwa akisema hizi rooms it's meant for what?
Ni kama wanaulizana?
Walikuwa wanaulizana.
Walikuwa wanaongea lugha gani?
Walikuwa wanaongea Kisomali kawaida. Unaona? Sasa ndo nikajua nikikaa hapa hao watu wataendelea kurusha hii mapati. Sasa wadhani ni walimu wanaishi hapa ndani ama ni waaskari wengine wanalalanga hapa hizi rooms. So immediately I realized to run away from this room.
So ulipotoka ulijaribu kuwaamsha watoke?
Ndio. Sasa unfortunately watatu peke yake walinifuata. And tulitoka mara moja. Kutoka sasa tulipotoka, risasi imekuwa kama mvua inanyesha. Marisasi vile walikuwa wanatupa. Walikuwa wanadhani ni sisi walimu, ni walimu walikuwa wanatoroka. Wakarusha. Sasa nikitembea hivi nikikimbia, naonekana risasi inaanguka mbele yangu. Mimi nafanya hivi, inaanguka mbele yangu, mimi nafanya hivi. Nilikuwa natembea zigzag. Wao watoto bado walikuwa hapa. Sasa wale nilienda nao, tukaingia na wao hiyo mabomas. Tulipoingia nilikuwa nataka nishike na tukae mahali moja mpaka ifike asubuhi. Sasa nilishinda hao watoto walipita wapi, nikakosa. Mpaka nimesimama nikaangalia kama kuna watoto wanapita hapa karibu, nikakosa kabisa. Walitoroka kabisa. Sasa kuna mmoja ameenda Impio mpaka kuna village nyingine hapa karibu inaitwa Wagela, ameenda mpaka huko. Na huyo mwingine alikuwa nyuma yangu, kumbe alirudi hivi wakakutana na wengine wanakaa hapa karibu nje ya fence.
4 pupils died, including 2 brothers, who died holding each other. Abdi Fatah Mohammed, a Class 7 pupil aged 16, Suleiman Mohammed, also in Class 7 aged 15, Abdi Najib Mohammed in Class 4 aged 14, and Abdi Rahman Ibrahim, a Class 6 pupil aged 15. Al-shabaab cut short the lives of brilliant young boys who had a promising future and left 3 other people's nursing gunshot wounds in hospital.
Tumesikia kuna Al-shabaab wanakuja, wamefika almost 3 to 4 kilometers from Seredo. Wameonekana hapa karibu, kuna mahali ingine inaitwa Babul hapa karibu, wameonekana. Sasa tulikuwa na hiyo, tulikuwa tunaogopa almost 3 weeks.
This is an expensive war. But then if you have to fight it, we need to equip our soldiers properly.
The challenge of having police posts with no proper equipment to deal with today's terrorism threat is exposing many officers sent to northern Kenya to secure the local communities as they struggle to stay alive and deal with any threats, and this has raised many questions.
We are fighting terrorists who have sophisticated weapons. Then as you can imagine, the RPG that hit this house, kama ingepiga watu, ingemaliza watu wangapi? Mingi sana. Askari wako na bunduki tu na marasasi kidogo. They are, you can imagine 6 officers against 14 terrorists who have sophisticated weapons, RPGs, machine guns, all those things.
There is need to reorganize, to recalibrate the kind of equipment or equipping that we see the security personnel on the front lines, particularly very close to Somalia border. It's very important that the special forces that Kenya has actually deployed in that part of the world. The police and their G3 rifle seems to not be able to deal with certain threats that Al-shabaab is posing as we speak.
We are not buying the right equipment. You have seen these vehicles being ripped apart by IEDs, and they were supposed to withstand an actual bomb. You understand? So we have a problem, an internal one, which we need to admit. But we are not admitting, and we are sending these children of ours over there, hero-equipped, like you are saying, both underarmed and also without sufficient protection.
A police officer who survived one of the attacks spoke to NTV and said there is tension within the camps and officers feel exposed and abandoned.
Kama they are monitored kabisa, wanajua these camps of police are under strength kabisa. Na hawana silaha yoyote wanaweza pigana nao. Hiyo silaha zenye tunatumia, si silaha unaweza pigana nazo na Al-shabaab. Sababu ukiwa na G3 peke yake na AK47, na somebody is coming with a duty gun, is coming with a missile launcher, tutapigana naye namna gani? Ni ngumu sana.
Now, are you enough?
No, we are not. We are not. At the moment, we are 12 officers right now. Sisi watu nao ni kama tumesaulika kweli, my friend. Hapa ni kuishi kwa neema ya Mwenyezi Mungu, hakuna lingine.
What kind of help do you need kutoka kwa serikali?
Watupe silaha za kutosha, na wa officers wakuwa wengi at least, itasaidia. Lakini hivi vile iko hivi sasa hivi, kuja kwa tawarani tu ikambi within minutes. Usiku haulali, mchana haulali, unashinda hivyo. Day and night you are on. Tension hadi iko huko juu. Hapa mtu anakosa kuwa wazimu.
Kama serikali imeamua kuleta officers kwa mahali, please not less than 20 officers wasiletwe hapa. Number 2, at least wakuwe na kitu ambayo wanaweza kujizea nao. Hata at least hata wakipatikanwa something that they can respond. Lakini wakikuwa na risasi kidogo na watu wanapiga na grenades, it will be very hard for them.
The escalation of terrorist attacks in northern Kenya, including Lamu County, presents a unique and complex challenge to security agencies. The dynamics of terrorism are changing, and locals and non-locals here feel the change is isolating them. In many villages like this one, peace was the reason of life, but now fear is the reason they survive. Dennis Okari, NTV Special Report.